What I want to talk to you guys about right now is something that's been on my mind recently. How do you find legitimate spiritualists? Now, finding a legitimate spiritualist is a bit of a problem. Anybody who's ever had any experiences with them, you pay large sums of money, and the things they do don't work at all. And how do you find a legitimate one? How do you prove that the one you're going to is actually legitimate? And how do you find out the truth? And I've come up and developed a strategy that can help you find out which spiritualist is a legitimate one. Because the problem with spiritualists is, how do you know they're telling the truth and how do you know they're not? That's a problem. And, and all I can say, if you want to find a legitimate spiritualist, is one thing I advise you to do is make a deal with them. You'll pay double the money that they originally offered to you to make it more likely they would go along with this idea. And what you would offer is a free trial of the products they use. You'd follow all of the things you're supposed to do, all of the protocols. You'd follow all of the different things they give you, and if it works, you're willing to pay double the price. Now, the reason why I've brought up this idea is because if someone is a fraudulent spiritualist, they won't do the deal because they will know that their idea doesn't, they will know that what they're doing doesn't actually work. To be honest with you, they'll know what they're doing doesn't actually work because they didn't actually train to be a legitimate spiritualist. They're doing this to get a quick, easy buck. So they'll bail out of it. They will say, oh, I don't want to do that. But the one who's legitimate will say, you know what? I know what I'm doing is going to work, or is going to work. And I know what I'm doing is going to work. And not to mention that I'll make double the money. Like, let's just say they offer they say that, that they'll give you these products for $500. Say you'll give them $1,000 if they go along with your protocol, because they will say to themselves, you know what, I will make double the money. And at the same time or whatnot, I know what I'm doing is going to work. So they will do it. So they are more likely so they are going to do it most likely. And also people will say, why do I have to pay double the money? Well, why not? Because spiritualists cost a lot of money. They can cost anywhere from hundreds of thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, they're very expensive. And you want to find a way to know that what you're doing is actually legitimate or not. Let's just say you go to a spiritualist and you spend a couple $100 and the stuff they use doesn't work. Next thing you know, you go to another spiritualist who you think, and then you spend a couple $100 and it doesn't work. Overall, as time passes by, you use up more and more and more and more and more money. Next thing you know, you spend thousands of dollars and it doesn't work still, and you still have the same problem. So even though you might have to pay more of the price, you have to pay more of the price. In the long run, I think it's more worth it, in the long run. And I know some people say, why can't I just pay the original price? Well, I think, you want to make it more likely that they're willing to accept the deal because they will make more money in the long run. So I think they're more likely to do it if you offer double the price, because they can just simply say, I'll use another client. No, I'll get the same amount of money. If you make a deal with them and you offer to pay double the price, I think they're more likely to go along with it because they love money. I know some people, so they love money, like I was saying. So I think in general, it will work out for you. I know some people will say, well, what if they don't believe me? What if they think I'm going to rip them off? And I do acknowledge that is a good point, because people in the past have would rip people off. They would say, oh yeah, I'll do the deal. And even if it works for them, they'll say, oh, it didn't work. So how do I know exactly, how will they know exactly I'm telling the truth and I'm not lying? If I go at the deal, if I go at the deal or whatnot, And what I can say is maybe they could put you under a lie detector test or something. I know some people will say, how are they going to get access to those technologies? Well, maybe in the future they might have something like that, to put you to see if you're telling the truth or not, you know, to see if they're telling the truth or not, so they can know for a fact you're telling the truth, So I think in general, these are ways to guarantee you can find a legitimate one. Because like I said before, if the person is fraudulent, they know that it won't work. But if someone's legitimate, they know it will work. So they're willing to pay double. They're probably going to be more likely to go along with it. I know some people might not like the idea, and they might decide, I'm just going to pick a spiritualist. But from my experiences, I can tell you the majority of them are fraudulent. They're in it for the money. Next thing you know, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars, and it doesn't work. So that's what I would suggest you do. You have a free trial. They give you the products for free. And if if free to see if it works or not. And if it doesn't, and if it works, you pay them double the money. You pay them more money or whatnot, to be honest with you. So I think that's a bit of a way to guarantee that, like I was saying, to guarantee that they will, that they're legitimate. It's a good psychological tactic, It's a good psychological tactic, to be honest with you. And also people will say, why don't I just put them under a lie detector test instead? But even still, even if they believe it's going to work, what if it still doesn't work? So you get a free trial. And that's all I have to say.